How far? We give up quickly because we look at how far we have to go. How far is it between London, England, and Paris, France? How far should we go to protect our endangered animals? We must also reflect on how far we have really progressed. The specialists don't know exactly how far the virus has spread. How useful? Anyone who has used Google Maps knows how useful it is. Just practice and see how useful it is to learn English through films. You will be surprised at how useful these applications can be. I've realized how useful feedback and constructive criticism can be. Let's look at some examples to illustrate how useful this new tool is. How painful? Help participants recognize how painful it is to be excluded. I was sincerely shocked by how painful it was to witness. I know how painful it can be to think about the past mistakes. I think you need to be reminded of how painful reality is. Imagine how painful and difficult this experience would be. How tempting. Do not go over that limit, regardless of how tempting. These high yields are dangerous no matter how tempting. Don't go over this restriction, no matter how tempting. Don't badmouth your former employer, no matter how tempting. Don't eat delicious food more and more, no matter how tempting. How efficient? Here you can test how efficient your immune system is. See what happens with familiarity, and how efficient this forum is. We won't know how efficient until we have a real comparison. Who knows how efficient you would have turned out? No matter how efficient your strategy is, your luck is also essential. How long? Let them know approximately how long the survey should take. It is impossible to estimate how long the process will take. Researchers don't know, for instance, how long its immunity lasts. The unions have not said how long the strike will last. We underestimated how long it would take to get there. How friendly? By the way, I must comment on how friendly everybody was. You can get a sense of how friendly someone is to transgender people. How friendly is a bear beast compared to a tiger? How friendly relations the United States maintain with Japan? How friendly relationship they established with the natives? How interesting. How interesting that there is always money in abundance for wars. From a psychological point of view, how interesting he was. Do not click any of the ads no matter how interesting they might seem. He has no idea how interesting his life is about to become. She began by acknowledging how interesting and useful it can be. How effective? Find out how effective the schools where you are learning. Stop thinking about how effective it will be in the future. There are many ways you can determine how effective meditation is. For years, I have been told how effective these books are. Try to pass all levels to prove how effective you are. How difficult? I don't know how difficult the task is, but I like to have at it. How difficult are the walks during the hiking activity? I realized for the first time how difficult this would be. How difficult it is to trust in love, it gives no guarantees. How difficult it is to forgive unless justice has been served. How many? How many people do you know who can speak English? The company declined to say how many would lose their jobs. How many games do you have installed on your phone? How many hours of pure sleep do you get every night? How many churches of different faiths were built by people? How much? How much suffering and disappointments in the life of a person? You tell me how much can be accomplished in that time. How much money do you usually spend when you go out? How much of your happiness is based on your goals? How much luggage did you take with you on vacation? How often? How often do we try to hide our weaknesses and our sadness? No one is sure yet how often these adverse effects develop. How often would you like to receive notification emails? How often have animals migrated from one place to another? How often are you worrying about the present moment? How great? How great are the gaps between wealthy and poor citizens? Everyone was talking about how great the workshop was. We understand how great he is because of his rescuing work. We only heard how great a player he was from other people. I was really surprised at how great the audiences were to me. How old? How old was the baby when it began to find his feet? The couple hopes for adoption no matter how old the child is. I don't know how old he is, but he looks well over 40. Is there any way to scientifically prove how old someone is? This document indicates that nobody knows how old the church is. How practical? Find out how practical it is even in the toughest conditions. Well, that decision depends on how practical your information is. They verbally expressed how practical it is to be obedient. It gives you points depending on how practical your answer. What surprised them was how practical it felt to do so. How healthy? Show us how healthy adults can continue to get the most out of life. How healthy are sports for children with congenital heart defects? Using the information, you can find out how healthy you eat. How healthy is your organization when it comes to making decisions? The way a community is designed affects how healthy we are. How strong? My mind was blown by how strong our new album sounds. The length of the nap will determine how strong you feel. Let me prove to you how strong we could be together. Your overall range does not determine how strong your voice is. Never cheat. No matter how strong the opportunity might seem. How incredible! You don't have to guess anymore how incredible the wine is. You have no idea how incredible it feels to watch the film again. She saw the fish and thought about how incredible they would taste. We already heard and learned so much about how incredible heaven is. He doesn't know how incredible you look with that hairstyle. How diverse. We observed how innovative they are and how diverse they are. I loved how diverse fashion was, but now it has become uniformed. It just goes to show how diverse and adaptive life can be. Most people don't realize how diverse the Earth's landscapes are. We have no idea about how culturally diverse Colombia is. How good? Of course, the good results also indicate how good a coach he is. No matter how good of a writer you are, mistakes happen. She knows how good life is and how hard it is to make life good. No matter how good of a writer you are, you should use an editor. We don't know how good the remedy is, but it is very popular. How impressive. I just wanted to tell you how impressive you look in that dress. Do you remember how impressive you felt the first time you did this? Without visitors, a blog is useless no matter how impressive the content. Move fast and let's see how impressive visual memory you have. How do you tell how impressive the system is without tasting it? How high? How high of a salary does the baseball player of tomorrow expect? The trees indicate how high things can grow in the mountains. Sodium can significantly affect how high your blood pressure is. The debate is raging on how high oil prices could soar in future. Scientists usually look at distant stars, how high they are. How influential? It's obvious to see how influential the power of the mafia is. That's how influential and strong woman she was. Past data has shown how influential the European Union is. This is useful information to determine how influential they are. We will find out how influential the top 10 companies are by revenue. How awful. How awful I feel when I see an elderly person crying. The elevator fell and 6 people were hurt. How awful. I can't begin to imagine how awful it must have been. I've never told you just how awful he treated the poor man. Regardless of how awful you are at writing, I will help you.